But it is sort of sad that this is the same president we're getting again, that there are no lessons learned. There's no sense that Californians are Americans, right? That they are struggling in these areas. 2 people have lost their lives. These fires haven't been contained at all. It looks like they're probably going to get worse before they get better, and that he doesn't have any sort of empathy and understanding about, over what these folks are going through. People have families there. Not only, you might have families still there. I have family there and friends as well. So it's just sad and still shocking.
So we are once again back to everything is Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump is the underlying problem to everything in America. And apparently now, according to CNN, it is Trump's fault that Gavin Newsom is a horrible governor who cannot lead. He cannot properly manage his state. And it's partisan politics to be calling out his failed leadership in this moment, despite the fact that liberals constantly want to make this wildfire situation about climate change. So we're going to show you this unhinged clip here today, and I have a lot of things to say. I also have some receipts to debunk CNN on this very issue. But first, folks, do us a big favor. If you enjoy the content, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. You subscribing is the #1 way to ensure we can keep doing these videos. And with that said, all right, here is CNN, claiming that Trump is the big problem when it comes to wildfires in California, basically because he's so evil and mean and bad.
He was at a press conference last night talking about the gratitude he has from President Biden, still the current president, who has offered federal assistance as much as he needs.
Yeah, and the question is, on the campaign trail, I think it was in October of 2024, Donald Trump was saying that if he got reelected, that he could withhold federal funds from California. Obviously, he has a sort of a feud with Gavin Newsom, a feud with almost every Democrat governor and senator and Democrat in general. And I think the question going forward is, could that happen? Is this something he's going to actually do when he assumes office? Because he does.
Okay, well, first thing I want to note is that currently federal funds are not being withheld from California. And yet, as I brought up in the last video, these fires are getting worse every year, and they keep happening, not because of so-called climate change, by the way, but because Gavin Newsom refuses to properly manage water resources, and he refuses to properly clear the brush out of the forest. And Trump's been calling this out for years. We brought the receipts in the last video. We can bring it again if we need to. But I actually think that if it takes the threat, maybe you don't go through with it, but you probably don't have to. I would say this, right? If I'm Donald Trump to California, if you want to keep getting money from the federal government, and especially when it comes to wildfire reliefs, you have to make a dedicated promise, or heck, we'll send in the federal government to do it ourselves, that we're going to properly manage water and we're going to properly clear out the brush. Because you basically keep allowing these fires to happen, and then every single time you beg the feds for help, you don't really care about all the people that are affected by your bad policies, and then you blame climate change, of course, as they always do. It's ridiculous. So just going to point that out.
See the federal government and the budget and the monies as his own, as to dole out as he wishes to his friends. And so I think that's the real question going forward. But it is sort of sad that this is the same president we're getting again, that there are no lessons learned. There's no sense that Californians are Americans, right? That they are struggling in these areas. 2 people have lost their lives of these fires.
No lessons learned from the people who still didn't learn the lessons of the 2024 election. Again, by the way, okay? Yes, Californians are suffering. That's why you should stop basically allowing these fires to happen through your bad policies. We'll get more into that in a second, but I just want to point that out, okay? Gavin Newsom is absolutely to blame for this. Past a certain point, you can't just keep saying, oh, we could have never expected this was going to happen. No, you could have, because this happens all the time in California, and you're doing nothing to help with water or help with forests. Trump's been pointing it out. We talked about it in the last video a lot, but just saying.
Haven't been contained at all. It looks like they're probably going to get worse before they get better, and that he doesn't have any sort of empathy and understanding about, over what these folks are going through. People have families there. Not only, you might have families still there. I have family there and friends as well. So it's just sad and still shocking.
Literally, as you're speaking.
Okay. As someone who also has family there, I grew up in Southern California. Like, my whole family is literally still there. We have the utmost empathy That's why we want to stop these wildfires from happening. How complicated is it? Okay? You know what doesn't have empathy? Is knowing that all the brush in these forests is going to keep causing these fires that are ravaging your state every year, and you don't do anything about it. I think that lacks empathy. I think Gavin Newsom, knowing, because he watched this insurance crisis happen that you're hearing about right now, knowing that almost of the major insurance providers for home insurance were going to leave the state of California because it was unfeasible for them to stay with these fires and all this stuff. And California would not allow them to negotiate a new deal that would allow them to stay. He just let them all leave. And he did nothing to fix the situation, to find a new alternative for insurance, to even, heck, if you want to be liberal about it, make sure there's a government provided home insurance. He didn't do anything. He literally just sat by, didn't care. And now all of these California residents lost their homes and many of them are uninsured. Where's the empathy in that? Because you know whose fault that is not? That's not Donald Trump's fault. That is Gavin Newsom's fault. He sat there as governor, let it happen. The insurance companies personally went to him and tried to negotiate something. He let them leave. Where's the empathy in that? Where's the empathy in, as Trump's been talking about today, allowing water to be diverted to the Pacific Ocean for some stupid environmental reason over a fish, when again, people are freaking burning and their homes are burning in your state that is in desperate need of water. Oh, but it's climate change. Shut the heck up. It's ridiculous. So I'm not going to take any of this whining about empathy, because the leadership of California, the people who run California, have no empathy for their people. They don't care, as regular citizens are terrorized by homeless, drugged up criminals and all this stuff. They don't care about cost of living. They don't care about the fact that, the property taxes, the gas taxes, all this stuff are crushing working people in the state. They're literally having to get up and leave the place where their families have lived for several generations, right? They don't care about any of these people. And you guys wonder why I'm so heated about this? Because I grew up in that state, okay? I know this issue well. That's why it's so infuriating when you look at the sheer incompetence. And again, I don't even want to call it incompetence, because I think it's malicious of the people who run this state. And then what is CNN trying to do? What is Gavin Newsom trying to do? Guilt trip, because they say Donald Trump has no empathy. No, Donald Trump has so much empathy. He's been trying to stop this from happening for years, and Gavin Newsom is allowing it. By the way, you want to talk about that? Here is Joe Biden meeting with Gavin Newsom, and the first thing he mentions is that he is now a great grandfather. Okay?
What's happening? All I want is to do. My son was out there anyway. They got a notification yesterday that their home was probably burning around. Today, there's a lady still standing in my sewer. But the good news is, I'm a great grandfather as of today.
Because that's what people in California want to hear, right? They want to hear you talking about yourself. Okay. By the way, on this front, okay, despite all the claims that, oh, Donald Trump coming into power will be so dangerous for stuff like wildfire disaster relief, here is also, we're going to bring the receipts, like I said, a video from 2020 of Gavin Newsom thanking and praising Donald Trump's response to the wildfires that came that year. I remember them back in high school, actually, but here's what he had to say.
I want to thank you and acknowledge the work that you've done to be immediate in terms of your response to our FMAG request 14. We were just talking, Mark Gilladucci is the head of the Office of Emergency Service. This may be a record that the states received in the FMAG support, as well as the major disaster declaration, which you referenced on August 22nd, which was profoundly significant, not only to help us support our mutual aid system, but also individuals that are in desperate need of support.
Oh, but Trump's going to handle these disasters so badly, right? That's why we're going to miss the leadership of Joe Biden. Okay. Mr. I'm a great grandfather today. Yay. Just totally tone deaf. Okay. Last thing I want to point out, we brought these receipts in the last video, but I'll show a different video one more time here. Trump, again, has been providing the solution for Newsom to fix these fires for years. Here's more proof of it. They didn't listen. They better listen in the second term, because this is just getting out of control. Here it is.
It's cleaned out and protected. You got to take care of the floors. You know, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have... much different. We're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. and they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that to that end, and it's going to work out.
Yeah, again, Trump has been telling California to do this for years. He's always been right about it. They refuse to because of either partisan politics or probably something honestly much more malicious than that, but they won't do it. And but now we're told, oh, Donald Trump lacks empathy. No, he's trying to fix the problem. He's always wanted to fix the problem. And you know what? At this point, because Gavin Newsom has allowed this to happen time and time again, he deserves all the criticism. No, he should be held accountable. That's the number one thing we should be doing right now, secondary to disaster relief, because like this cannot just keep happening. You know what the definition of insanity is, right? What is it? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. When you refuse to rake the forest over and over again, when you divert water from your state that could bring moisture to all of the areas that are affected over and over again, what's going to happen? More wildfires. They're going to get even worse. They are getting worse. And you just sit there, keep doing the same thing. And this is so horrible. How could this happen to us? No, we cannot just keep running that state like that. We cannot keep running this country like that. And again, I'm so pissed about this because I know this issue well. I've dealt with it. And it's just, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this happening over and over and over again. You know, being from that state, understanding how it works, because Trump is right. And the media still, in this moment, instead of acknowledging that he is correct, you know, still just doing the same thing they did in the first term. That's not unexpected, but here's hoping that something changes going forward, because this is the wake-up call. And like I said in the last video, the one silver lining of it all, I don't know if Gavin Newsom is going to be able to run for president after this, because this is such an unmitigated disaster. And Trump constantly reminding the world that it is indeed his fault is very important. So I'm glad he's doing it. With that said, though, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.